Okay, so today we're diving into some pretty complex stuff.
Yeah.
AI, free will, that whole can of worms, really.
Right.
You sent over this fascinating conversation actually with ChatGPT
Uh-huh.
about how all these things, AI, free will, are kind of intertwined, maybe even on a collision course.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm ready to unpack this. This is exciting stuff.
What I find really interesting with this whole thing is that it's not just, can AI do this or that
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, what does it mean to be human in a world where AI can do that?
Right. And the conversation actually starts off with this whole concept of an AI that knows what you need, like even before you do. And part of me is like, sign me up, instant personal assistant. That sounds amazing. Yeah.
But then there's this other side of it, this question of, if your tech is always one step ahead, are you really the one making the choices?
Right.
Or are you just, following the digital breadcrumbs?
Okay, imagine this. You're really craving some Italian food, right?
Mm-hmm.
But your AI suggests sushi
Okay.
because it knows, based on like, I don't know, your browsing history or whatever,
Yeah.
that you've been meaning to try that new place downtown.
Right. Right.
And oh, it also knows that sushi aligns with your like fitness goals a little better than pasta.
Mm-hmm.
So is that helpful? Or is it starting to feel like, I don't know, like someone else is planning your life?
Yeah, and that is exactly the kind of question that this whole conversation brings up.
Creepy, right?
Well, it's thought-provoking. And what I find really fascinating is that the AI itself, in this case, ChatGPT, is actually using the term us when it's talking about this very issue.
Whoa, hold on, wait. So you're saying even the AI is like grappling with this line between helpful suggestion and like, I don't know, like almost controlling the human experience.
I think it's more that the language we're seeing suggests an awareness of this human need for autonomy. Now, whether AI actually feels that need, that's a whole other conversation, right?
Right.
But the key takeaway here is that these language models are picking up on these nuances,
Yeah.
which, tells us something about how they're evolving, how they're learning.
Okay. See, now this is where I start to get a little creeped out, right? Because we're talking about AI analyzing not just our actions, but like the why behind them, our emotions, our biases, all that messy human stuff.
Right. And that's exactly why this whole idea of transparency in AI is going to be so crucial.
Okay.
Imagine if your AI not only suggested that sushi dinner,
Right.
but also actually told you why it was suggesting it.
Yeah, yeah.
It could say something like, based on your recent browsing history, I believe you are looking for a dining experience that is both novel and aligns with your stated health goals.
Okay.
And then, boom, now you have the power to say, you know what, actually tonight I just want pasta.
Like suddenly you're in on the secret, you understand the rules of the game, and that makes a huge difference.
Exactly. You go from just passively accepting these recommendations to actually participating in the decision-making process.
Right.
Right.
And that, I think, is a huge part of this whole conversation about free will.
So it's not that AI knowing us too well is the problem. It's about knowing how it knows us and having the ability to say, like, thanks, but no thanks.
Right.
I like that. So, okay, but hold on a second. What about those times when we want to be nudged in the right direction?
Okay.
Like, say, if you're stuck in a rut or something.
Yeah, that's where another brilliant concept from your conversation comes in. Dependency warnings.
Dependency warnings.
Imagine your AI acting like a concerned friend, giving you a gentle nudge when it senses you're maybe relying on it a little too much. Okay. So like it'd be like, "Hey, I've noticed you've been ordering takeout for every meal this week. Is everything okay?"
Exactly.
That would actually be really helpful. Especially if you're like, in a funk and not even realizing.
Right. And that's the thing. It's about striking that balance.
Yeah.
Leveraging the insights of AI without becoming overly reliant on it.
Right.
The goal is to enhance our decision making, not to outsource it completely.
So it's about making sure we stay in the driver's seat,
Yeah.
even as the tech gets, more and more sophisticated.
Right.
I dig that. But, all this talk about AI anticipating our needs, it does make me wonder, could this actually make us, like, dumber in the long run?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we never have to think for ourselves, do our brains just turn to mush?
Yeah. That's a really interesting question. And actually, it's one that ChatGPT itself kind of addresses in your conversation.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What if, instead of making us less intelligent, AI actually pushes us to be more knowledgeable?
Hold on. So you're saying, like, AI could be the thing that forces us to like level up our brain power. Okay, I got to hear more about this. This is interesting.
Think about it this way. If you don't even have like a basic understanding of a topic, how can you even ask the right questions about it? How can you really like engage with the information that the AI is giving you? And it'd be like trying to have a conversation with a rocket scientist when you barely passed, high school
Oh
physics.
yeah, totally. You'd just be like nodding along, pretending to understand what they're talking about. You wouldn't even know where to begin.
Exactly. But imagine if AI could actually guide us, like help us to ask better questions.
Okay.
Imagine having a personal tutor for any subject, breaking down these complex ideas step by step until you have that aha moment.
Yeah.
That's a future where AI isn't just giving us answers, it's teaching us how to think.
So instead of replacing our brains, it's like this awesome power up for our curiosity. I like where this is going. This is cool.
And that actually brings us to that quantum physics example that you mentioned.
Right, right.
Asking, what is quantum physics? That'll get you a basic definition, sure.
Right.
But AI could help you unlock the really interesting questions.
Okay.
The ones that even the experts, might have missed.
So you're telling me that AI could actually help us uncover those knowledge gaps, those blind spots in our understanding. That's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
Yeah. And that's the potential here, right?
Yeah.
AI could analyze, mountains of data, spot patterns, and make connections that we would never see on our own.
Right.
And then it could basically be like, hey, have you considered looking at it this way?
Wow.
It could lead to entire new fields of study, solutions to problems we haven't even imagined yet.
Okay, that's both incredibly exciting and a little intimidating. Like what if AI starts asking questions that we're not ready to answer?
Yeah.
Like questions about ourselves, about the universe, about things we thought were unanswerable.
Well, and that's the crux of this whole conversation about free will, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are we willing to embrace the unknown, to confront these big, potentially unsettling questions that AI might raise?
Or do we stick our heads in the sand and just miss out on this whole new level of understanding?
Yeah.
It's like choosing between fear and curiosity.
Yeah. And it brings us back to what I think is one of the most crucial points from your conversation with ChatGPT.
Okay.
The real winners in this age of AI, they're not going to be the ones who build the most advanced tech.
Right.
It's going to be the ones who use it most ethically, most thoughtfully.
So it all comes back to us. It's not about what AI can do. It's about what we choose to do with it. Like, what kind of future are we actually building with this technology? Okay, that's a pretty heavy question.
It is. It's a heavy question, but it's one that we all need to be asking ourselves because the decisions that we make today about AI, they're going to have ripple effects for generations to come.
No pressure, right?
No, not at all. But you're right. It's a huge responsibility, and it's funny because even ChatGPT in that conversation seemed to recognize like the potential threat to free will.
Wait, really? So it's like the AI is warning us about itself? Okay, that's straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Well, it's not that, the AI has suddenly become like self-aware and is like, sounding the alarm or anything.
Cool.
But it is interesting that it's picking up on these anxieties that we have as humans about technology, which is fascinating in and of itself.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, it's learning from the data that we feed it. And that includes all of our, our hopes and fears about the future.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So it's less Terminator, more like it's holding up a mirror, reflecting back what it's seeing in us.
Exactly. And what's even more encouraging, I think, is that it's also offering, solutions, those suggestions that it made about mitigating dependency.
Right.
Providing multiple options, explaining its reasoning, even those, dependency warnings we were talking about.
Yeah.
Those are all ways of kind of putting the user back in control.
It's like having an AI partner that's like constantly checking in, making sure you're both on the same page. Like, hey, I've noticed you haven't questioned my navigation in a while. Are you sure you don't want to, take a detour, explore a little?
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot where AI augments our abilities, expands our horizons, but doesn't, dictate our choices. We get the benefit of its insights without sacrificing our own agency.
Okay, so to bring this all back full circle, we've got this incredible technology, right? It has the potential to totally revolutionize how we live, work, even think. But it all comes down to how we choose to use it. We can't just sit back and let it happen to us. We have to be active participants in shaping this future with AI.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that's why I think these conversations we're having, these deep dives into these ethical, even philosophical implications of AI are so important.
Yeah.
The more we explore these questions, the better equipped we'll be to actually like navigate this uncharted territory.
To ensure that AI serves humanity and not, the other way around. I always think about that Arthur C. Clarke quote, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Mm.
And AI definitely has that magical quality to it. But it's up to us to make sure it's the kind of magic that enriches our lives, not, diminishes us.
Well said. It's about using that magic responsibly, thoughtfully, and always with an eye towards what kind of future we actually want to create.
A future where we're not just along for the ride, but we're actively shaping the journey,
Mm,
with AI as our co-pilot, not our dictator.
right.
Well, folks, I don't know about you, but my brain is officially buzzing after that deep dive. Huge thanks to you for lending your expertise to this, and to our listener, of course, for sending us down this incredibly thought-provoking rabbit hole.
It's been a pleasure.
And to all our listeners out there, keep those questions coming. Until next time, happy diving.